crossing from Egypt. And to shed more light on the importance of the visit by Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli to Northern Sinai, we are joined over the phone by Dr. Mohammed Azam, Technology and Development Expert. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you.
So, Dr. Mohammed, let's start by the timing of the visit by the Prime Minister to Sinai. As he said, it was planned to be the first week of October, but was postponed due to his engagements with other things. So, how do you see the timing of this visit?
I think this is a very important timing. It shows how the Egyptian state is supporting the cause of Palestinian, and we are in so much solidarity with our brothers in the Palestinian territory, especially after the unprecedented aggression carried out by Israel on the Gaza Strip. And also it showed that Egypt is quite keen to solve the problem according to the international law and according to the UN resolutions that has been there for many years, and emphasize on the Egypt is working and keen to provide the humanitarian aid to the Palestinians in Gaza, as well as the only way to solve this issue once for all is to have the two-state solution that was introduced by the initiative by the Arab League and the initiative of the international community. And of course, this is the only way to save lives and have a peaceful and restore the peace in the area of the Middle East.
Yes, in his speech, the Prime Minister said that the state will launch the second phase of the development of Northern Sinai, where strong infrastructure has been laid down. How do you see developmental projects in Sinai, especially the road networks and other developmental projects?
Actually, this is part of the holistic development that is taking place all over Egypt, and of course, focusing on Sinai that has been neglected for decades, with this huge investment in infrastructure, in projects, housing projects, economic projects for small and medium enterprises, as well as having this kind of development by the hands of our people in Sinai. Sinai is a very important, sincere part of Egypt, and the development now is taking place aggressively, showing that the Egyptian state is very keen to bring modernization to this important part of the country, and as well as investing heavily in all aspects that related related to the improvement of lives in Sinai, that will, of course, will lead to more investment in this part, as well as creating so many job descriptions. Especially most of the projects, as the Prime Minister said, will be carried out by the people in Sinai themselves, which is a very important aspect of having a sort of inclusive development.
So, Prime Minister Madbouli also said that linking Northern Sinai with all other Egyptian lands is underway with the aim of aborting any foreign ambitions. How do you read the statement?
This is actually because Sinai is an integral part of Egypt. Sinai is very important part of Egypt, and it represents the eastern frontiers of our country, and of course this is sending a very strong message that no displacement for anyone in Sinai. This will not happen and will never happen, and Egypt will never allow such things. And we are developing Sinai for the Egyptians and for the people of Sinai, for having a better environment for life, having a better way to create wealth through job creation, and having a sort of stabilized economic areas that will bring prosperity to the Sinai in particular, and to Egypt at large.
Yes, sir. Also, the Prime Minister said that plans are forwarded to establish logistics and free zones in northern Sinai to serve trade movement with the neighboring countries. How would these steps impact economic ties with neighboring countries?
Actually, because Sinai has a very important location on the northern Sinai has very important location when it comes to the Mediterranean, and the south has a very important location when it comes to the Red Sea. And of course, we have so many ambitious plans and projects are taking place. Actually, not only plans, there are so many projects for modernizing the airports, the seaports, the roads, the trade infrastructure, the whole trade ecosystem that would, of course, will help to boost the trade within Sinai and, of course, within Egypt. And of course, this will affect the growth of the economic development in Egypt, and of course, this will add to our GDP, and this will actually open new vistas for investment and open new vistas actually for attracting more industrial and agriculture projects to the land of Sinai, and of course, this will need this kind of development, because if you have an economic system, you need also to couple this economic system with a trade system, which is taking place now by modernizing our sea and airports and our physical infrastructure to be able to cater the dynamics of the local market as well as regional and international markets.
So, Dr. Mohammed, how do you list Sinai Peninsula's investment potentials?
I can see, because actually, if you need to have a competitive economy, you need to have competitive infrastructure. Without having competitive infrastructure, we will be able to attract more investment when it comes to the retail sector, when it comes to the manufacturing sector, even to the agriculture sector. And of course, this is a totally brand new area with a lot of potential, because it's very special location, and it's very close to many other trade or countries that we have trade agreements with in South Europe and East Europe, as well as across the Mediterranean. So this is a real opportunity to have a real development, and of course the real development is always attractive for foreign direct investment, because this is an opportunity to invest, opportunity in a virgin market, and an opportunity to have more profitable projects and services, and that could be actually traded to the markets that we have economic ties with, such in Europe or the Middle East or in Asia.
Yes, Prime Minister Madbouli also said that the projects planned for Sinai cover many fields, including health and higher education. How would those projects affect social, economic, and political stages on the ground?
Actually, again, if you need to have a competitive nation, you need to have competitive education system. And as well as competitive and resilient healthcare system. It's becoming an integral part of any economic development. You cannot actually excel on the competitiveness ladder unless you have a robust and resilient and modern education and healthcare system. That's why part of the investment and part of the developmental projects that are taking place in Sinai now is concerned about building research and development institutions, higher education institutions, coupled with availing state art, actually world-class healthcare system to the people living in Sinai, to the newcomers of Egyptians that will move to Sinai to have a role in the developmental projects. So you are building actually a comprehensive integrated system. There's nothing can grow in vacuum. And unless you are able to connect dots between the different sectors, you will be able to have a holistic approach or a holistic development, inclusive development on the national level, in the regional level. That's why the government of Egypt is taking serious actions for building such a holistic ecosystem that will, of course, will cater any developmental plans and developmental projects, as well as cater the growth of population, will cater also the new investment that is taking place all over the country at large, and in Sinai in particular. So this is a fully integrated approach, actually, for having a real inclusive development, and that this has been done for the first time since the 1960s, actually, in Egypt. We haven't seen this over the last 6 decades. Now we are witnessing such developmental plans that is all integrated and all connected, and all seeing the big picture when it comes to development. That's why education part of it, healthcare part of it, investment in logistics and trade system is part of it, investment in railway, investment in seaports, investment in airports, investment in industrial zones, investment in trade zones, investment in training, investment in even basic education. So it's all connected.
Yes, also, sir, the Prime Minister said that Sinai has been a bastion for resistance against aggression attempts against Egypt throughout history. Can you elaborate on this?
Of course, Sinai is the gate, actually, of Egypt, and if you look at the history over the last few thousand years, you find Sinai always a gate for the countries or the nation who would try to invade Egypt, and of course, Sinai is always the first line of defense of Egypt, and we've seen this over the course of the history of mankind and at large, and history of Egypt. We've seen this in many occasions, and of course, Sinai represents a very special case, and it has very special, I would say, appreciation and value to Egyptians, to all Egyptians, from Matruh up to Aswan, and of course this is always there. And of course, Sinai is very important to every Egyptian, and we are defending Sinai by our blood over years and years, and of course will never give up Sinai to anyone. And of course, Sinai is now part of the development that is matching the dynamics of the 21st century to become very competitive part of Egypt, and of course this will affect the overall competitiveness of the nation.
Yes, sir. Also, the Prime Minister said 270,000 fadans are planned for reclamation in northern Sinai, while 115 billion pounds are allocated to establish 21 housing projects in the area. To what extent this area will attract investors in the coming period?
Actually, this area is very attractive because actually most of the countries are now concerned about the food security, the issue of food security, especially after the war in Ukraine, and even before Ukraine, during the COVID pandemic, and due to disruption of the supply chain, especially the food supply chain, now countries are very concerned about having a self-sufficiency of food, and food security is becoming on the top of the agenda of many countries to be actually having enough food for its citizens, and even having a sort of surplus. So this is due to the population of Egypt, due to the market size of Egypt. Of course, this will attract so many decent quality investment, because the market is there, the distribution and actually the logistic and supply chain system is there. So this is, of course, it represents a very good, decent, and quality investment opportunity for investments from the Arab region, as well from local investment, as well as from the international investment community.
Yes, according to the Prime Minister, Northern Sinai is to be the site of international standard tourist projects, and also will be an investment destination for investments from around the world, especially that the road network is one of the highest standards that will be implemented in Sinai, linking Northern Sinai with all other Egyptian lands is underway. So how do you see Sinai as a destination for tourists?
Actually, Sinai is always a very special place for tourists. It's one of the top destinations for tourism all over the world, in Middle Sinai, and South Sinai, and even in North Sinai, because of the climate over there, the beaches, actually the moments that we have a lot of attraction areas and sites all over Sinai. So actually this is one of the great destination worldwide. So you need to build more infrastructure to cater the increase of tourism all over the world, as well as you'll be able to actually attract more tourists in this area. That's why you need investment in roads, you need investment in infrastructure at large, you need investment in tourism facilities, you need investment in hotels, you need investment in hospitality sector. And this, again, is another great opportunity for investment for local, regional, and international investment community.
Yes, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Mohammed Azem, technology and development expert. Thank you for being with us. And dear viewers, now we will watch a documentary on Sinai development.